17 laps of Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup action. They're under starters' orders. They're all in position. The man with the green flag signals that everybody is there. Wait for those red lights to go on, then off. And away we go. Good start from Acosta right from the centre of the front row, and not a great start from Alonso on the completing the front row, but it is Pedro Acosta who sweeps into the first corner ahead. Daniel Munoz behind him, and hopefully they're all through that first corner. They are. Well, that's great to see. Heading, as Neil says, up quite a steep climb here to turn 2.
Long straight, and the final part of that straight is very...
As you say, Neil, they've got to keep off the green stuff, keep it on the racetrack, and at least the red and white strips. And Daniel Munoz goes for the lead. Oh yes, he does. He takes the lead, and up there also number 64 there as well. Sheen Acosta's line to Acosta start and finish to complete lap 1. It's the two Munoz. They're not related, but 64 it is who has the advantage now, and that is David Munoz. He has the advantage. 24 is Ivan Ortola. Oh, and 3 abreast. Superb stuff on the brakes.
And this is steep downhill into this right-hander. It's very tricky corner. You've got to brake hard, obviously upright, and turning in as the camber drops away from you. So it's so easy to lose the front end. But the guys, again, behaving themselves. Track temperature's good. It's up around 40 degrees. The ambient temperature's around 25, 26 degrees. So actually perfect track conditions.
And it really is. It's beautiful dry day. We've had a lot of rain. We had rain during the 2 at the moment. It's seesawing backwards and forwards.
Yeah, quite comfortable on it. Yeah, he said he's making progress, but yeah, his dad's saying that he's a little bit upset he wasn't a bit further up the grid, but that'll come.
And there it is. There's David Alonso, the Colombian, in front. He said he was disappointed not to be on pole because he...
In here, might not be panicking at the moment. There'll be, as long as he can stay in the points, then he knows that he's certainly got a shot in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, and it really, you know, that last lap, the last 2 right-handers particularly, just as a question of where you are, whether you...
David Munoz. And yeah, plenty of time to make his way to the front. And
Daniel Munoz, as he slid off.
He had nowhere to go, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, back to the leaders then. It still is David Munoz. 37, Pedro Acosta. 38 in your picture now, David Salvador.
Yeah, Pedro Acosta just keeps rising.
I see somebody was off on the green. I didn't quite catch who it was. Maybe David Alonso on the actual warm-up lap, taking that long lap route bike.
So, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, definitely.
Not quite at half distance, and plenty of action left in this.
We have no clue.
Been moved in this year, so that keeping it big time.
Looks like Billy Van Eerd has taken that long lap penalty. He's certainly dropped down a fair bit. He's down to 17, 6 seconds off the lead.
And for the first time, we see anybody with any kind of a lead whatsoever. That's one
race
thing.
Direction, yeah, might not take any action, but has to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, you know, going that wide, it's just taking the mickey, though, isn't it? And and Acosta making sense of that clear road ahead of him and nobody being able to pick up his slipstream. Who's going after him? It's number 80. It's Bertelli, the Italian.
Scott Ogden, the Brit, up to 14th, just set his personal best lesson, at least into a point scoring position.
And good to see Rocco Landers, the American, there up in 18th place. Rocco missed the 2-day test here last week because they couldn't get the visas and all the COVID appliance in place to get here.
They're pulling each other on. They're not really out there to help each other, but they're naturally so difficult a circuit like this, the fastest, longest straight on the calendar really for the guys, so it's very difficult to, even when you get to
track limits there. And one of the guys who was very unlucky in that was Zonta van der Gerberg. They just all sort of a bit of a collide. Was one of the last ones to be pushed aside well off the main racetrack. And who's drifted wide there? I think it might be Daniel Helgado. He was in front on the number 96, yes, so he's lost that.
Yeah, he just seems to be able to get a gap occasionally, just trying to maintain it's a difficult bit. Another long lap penalty, and this number 95, Colin Via, the Dutch rider, so he must have been exceeding track limits and got a crash there on a screen for
the lead. And he's got a guy with pace. He didn't have an easy year last year because he missed 4 races because of visa problems coming from India. 7 Acosta, 64 is David Munoz.
Costa's certainly looking strong as they all pile into turn two, and he goes from first to fourth in one fell swoop.
And it's the Italian 6-year-old Matteo Bertelli in his second Rookies Cup season. As I say, he finished only 14th last year. He didn't have a superb season, but he was third in the race 2 at Jerez to start the season, I suppose, at every corner.
Really can lose a ton of time.
And Matteo Bertelli is Alonso. Oh, so close.
And particularly for the second half of this bunch, because, yeah, they've got 2 laps to get to the front, so you don't really want to be trailing in 10th place on the last lap. So more hectic in the second half of this bunch, really. The guys at the front, they just try and stay safe, make it count on the last lap.
Yeah, I saw Van der Gerber trying to position himself well there, but in fact he got really pushed out. He lost about 3 or 4 places as they turned into that right-hander. It's still Acosta with the advantage over David.
Came over the line.
64 machine of David Munoz. Then the 80 of Alonso, David Alonso, the Colombian. 96 is Daniel Holgado, another Spaniard. 38 going down the hill there, that's David Salvador. But it's Acosta who has the... Oh, dear me, that was desperate stuff. Acosta, they all got away with it, but how did they manage to get away with it? That could have been very, very nasty. But perhaps it's given Acosta just the slightest breathing space that he needs. He has the advantage as they go away up the hill, but it'll be a lap astern up ahead. Acosta has the advantage. The 96 Daniel Holgado's too deep in there. He's made a bigger of a mess of it.
He really got it done this time, so maybe he was saving something for this last lap. He's certainly getting the job done now, but Munoz has got a different idea.
Yeah, David Munoz on the 64 machine, but Acosta with a slight advantage. Him and Munoz, they've now surely, unless they make a mistake, the race should be decided between the two of them, because they've just got enough to get away. But of course, Daniel Holgado's the trailing group. There's David Alonso 80, and he's been dropped now. He's at the third place group, but it's got to do it absolutely perfectly. It almost, but has he lost the drive? And what's going to happen across the line is
the right side to go.
I'm sure he'll be in the hunt tomorrow. Billy Van Eerd is also the Australian Jack Miller protege that I'm sure he's got a lot more to come from. And also congrats to the Brit, Scott Ogden, grabbing his first points in 13th. So it's going to be another adventure tomorrow for these guys.
And of course, you know, this is actually race 1 of 4 here at the Red Bull Ring. We have another race tomorrow at the end of the day, and then we stay next weekend. We've got another 2 races. So, you know, I'm sure we'll see those results. The guard will just get more and more intense. So there we go. The 10th, Noah Detweiler, Gavin Planck's a Frenchman, Alex Milan, Scott Ogden, as you say, Colin, but I'm sure he stands a really good chance of getting in.